Hey guys, welcome to the next video of our onboarding series. In this video, we're going to talk about setting up your basic level organization settings. So that's going to include your organization logo, name, your proposal settings, address, things like that. So let's go ahead and jump in here. All right, so over here on the left-hand side, we're going to start in organization settings, and we're going to go to organization info. Again, from the last video, under organization settings is all of your top level company organization information and settings. And then when you get into the more granular costing side of things, that's where your product settings are going to be. Today, we're going to live solely in our organization settings. And in organization info, this is all of your company's, your organization's information. So first of all, your logo, choose a logo. This is a JPEG or a PNG file. So you'll choose a logo and upload it here. The name of your company. So this is important. This is going to show on proposals as your company name. This will show as the from name. When you send an email, it'll say from, in this case, JB Services. This is your organization phone number and email. Most people will put like an office administrative email / phone number in these sections here rather than a specific individual's phone and email, but it's totally up to you. What is your time zone? This helps us determine when to send automated emails so that we're not sending them at odd times during the night. So your time zone, and then your organization sales goal. So what is your entire company's sales goal for the year? This helps us tell you, are you on track to meet that goal based on your current sales throughput? So set those up. Once you have them, go ahead and hit that save button. The next thing that we're going to look at, we're not going to go through all of these settings. Again, this series is to really help you get up and running as quickly as possible. If you have documents like your COI, your W-9, things like that that you send to individuals and you want to attach them to your proposal, put them here under your documents. The next important thing is this average working hours setting. So when you are putting an estimate together, making a bid, and you say this job is going to be 1 day, how many hours typically are you accounting for in that 1 day? Most of the time we see this as being around 10 hours. Sometimes it's 8, sometimes it's 12, but how many hours are you estimating when you say this is a 1 day job? So that's what goes here. Once you input that, go ahead and hit the save button again. If you charge taxes on your proposals, so tax on your services, then you will input your tax rates here. By selecting default, this will go on every proposal that you create by default. It will get added. You can then add or remove taxes for that given proposal depending on location or taxes that are needed. But you can either have them added automatically or you can just have these all off by default and add them on an as needed basis. If you want to sync your taxes to QuickBooks, once you have your QuickBooks account linked, then you can put your tax code in here. So that's a number that you will get from your QuickBooks desktop account, and you will paste that tax code directly into this box. All right, the last thing that we're going to talk about is your address. So you will come with a default address. This is a Utah address because that's where we're based. Go ahead and click on that address and then just input the address. Once you start typing, it'll pop up. Input your address of where you're dispatching individuals from, or your shop address, your office address. Put that right here. This will help us calculate travel time for your crews once we get into a proposal, All right, that's all for your organization settings. There's not a ton in here that you need to do. Set up these very basic settings. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to pop over, again, under organization settings, right above your organization info where we are currently, we are going to go to your proposal settings. So these are all of your global settings for your proposal. First thing is you have different formats that you can choose from. We're going to keep this on branded. You can have a starting number. So if you're currently at proposal number 9205, for example, You can input 9206 as your starting number, and we will continue that number sequentially. We'll go to 9207, 9208 as we continue to increase and add more proposals within the system. If you want to prefix your proposal numbers with a value, you can add it here. So my proposal will end up being 25-9206. You can leave these blank and proposal will just start with number 1 and then increment from there. On the branded proposal, all of this yellow section here is controlled by this color palette here. You can add a custom color by overriding this or select from one of the pre-filled colors, and that will change the background, this yellow color, and these tabs and some of the headings within this proposal. We're not going to talk a lot about these settings for now. We'll come back to them when we get into product settings and we talk about calculating within individual proposals. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to scroll down to this layout content settings section. So within a proposal, there will be specific sections where there are text boxes that we're going to input onto the proposal. For example, my terms and conditions, my legal language, I want to apply to all of my proposals. So in this box down here, I'm going to paste my legal language or my terms and conditions that I want to go out on my proposals. We have various text boxes and text areas on the proposals that you can fill in. So we have a cover letter that I can put on my branded proposal or the full proposal. So I'm going to paste in the text of how I want to explain my company and open the proposal with when I send this to my customers. We'll come back to this in just a second, but what this table does is this allows us to choose which of these terms section I want to show on the proposal formats by default. So by default, my branded proposal is going to have the acceptance, the stage summary, because that's checked, the terms and conditions, and the cover letter. If I uncheck these, then my branded proposal will only have the acceptance, the terms and conditions, and the cover letter. And those correlate down here. So cover letter, terms and conditions, and my proposal acceptance. So you can choose which ones you want to add by default, and then which ones you want to add on a proposal by proposal basis. So you can create your own terms. Maybe you have a different description or legal language or disclaimers, exclusions, etc. for a seal coat job than you do for your asphalt job. So I can create my seal coat terms, create this. I don't have to show this by default on any proposal. And now I can type in my seal coat terms. When I do a seal coat proposal, I can then select these terms to get added to that proposal and sent for that proposal. But it doesn't have to go out on all of my proposals. It can be on a proposal by proposal basis. So one last thing about this section is within any of our text boxes, you're going to see this placeholders drop down. And what these are values that our system can add to this text box. For instance, the contact's first name, so that you don't have to type these values in every single time. So if you do a proposal and the contact for that proposal's name is John, then by having this curly bracket in here, our system knows that this proposal is for John. So we will replace this curly bracket value here. And when the customer receives this, it'll say, "Hi, John, thank you for the opportunity." So our system will swap out these values automatically for you so that you can personalize these messages with the proposal name or the proposal total or their first name, your name, the estimator name and phone number that they should contact because this is a proposal for that estimator. You can do all of that by highlighting an area. If I backspace this, then I can select, here's company, contact, first name. So best regards, I'm going to populate my estimator name, the organization name. So if you think back to the organization name that we just set up within organization info, that's what's going to populate here, and the estimator's phone number to get in contact with the estimator. and then I can go ahead and hit save. So that's all we're going to cover in this video. How do we, under organization settings and organization info, how do we set up my organization's information so that it appears within proposals and emails as I want it to show when the customer sees it. And we do that by editing this section up here, adding our taxes, updating the organization address, and then under proposal settings, selecting the format that we want, a starting number and or prefix, selecting the color of proposal we want to appear, and then down here, defining the terms that we want to show up on the proposal. Hopefully that was helpful for you. Watch the next video. We're going to go into our product settings and start setting up our cost so that we can create a proposal and have the numbers be accurate to what you would expect. Thanks for watching.